It's a Web geospatial platform which gives flexibility to the users to drive the extensibility of the geospatial applications over the web. See, the reason that majority of the organizations uses this, primarily NGOs, primarily companies which does the lightweight geospatial analysis, visualization and integration, right? So the reason that it works is because roughly about 80% plus of business data is not being used in the decision makings, because data sits in their CRM system or data sits in their SAP system, data sits in some other system, because the data is in a disparate sources. It is very tough for anybody to integrate and create a context with the location, right? And then roughly about 73% of the data, overall organization's business data, is not being used in order to make their decisions or in order to do those kind of analysis that they would want to do. And then the next thing is, okay, though I integrate the data, I don't trust the data. So roughly about 85% of the organizations thinks that they don't have a confidence on whatever the data they are using is accurate to help them with accurate decisions. So that is where our Spectrum Spatial comes in, to help you to integrate, manage and analyze the data and eventually extend that particular data or visualization to additional user groups within the organizations to make decisions. How are we going to do it? You have desktop geospatial users, you have business users who have no understanding on GIS. How are we going to bridge this particular gap? And we all know creating any web-based application is a time-consuming activity which has to go through a lot of user requirements, programming, testing, deployment, and all that maintenance of HCA security and all that nonsense. So for that, we come up with this particular interface where you will be able to directly publish your data from your desktop systems into a web spatial server, and you will be able to design your own application. For you, it's all just drag and drop. Literally zero program. Drag and drop and enable just tick box. I want this function, that's it. You're able to create that particular application with MapInfo. And you will be able to visualize those mapping capability, analysis capability, what you're doing in desktop geospatial application. Right? And then the next thing is that, so you have data being published by different user groups from different territories or regions. And you want to control this access based on the role, based on the permissions and etc. You will be able to process all of those things with our centralized role-based access control platform, where you really don't need to do a lot of don't have to worry about your data access, right? So you will be able to define, I want Mr. Krishna to have access to only this layer, and when he clicks on that map, I only want to show 3 attributes. And within those 3 attributes, I only want him to update only one field of attribute. How am I going to do this? So with this platform, you will be able to have all that control. Today, if you are a desktop geospatial user, you just give away the entire data and you'll have to move that particular data through pen drives or put that into some local drive, make the copies, and then you don't have control on what information that they should make. So with this, you will be able to have all of that role-based access control to the field level. So that's what we aim to have with the platform. And who should use it? I mean, which vertical should be able to use it? Answer is anybody. Anybody with any sort of a role, whether it is an analyst or a core geospatial user or a developer who wants to, again, you want to build something on top of it, or have a Google Street View into it, or you want to integrate your internal asset information to it. All of that is possible with the platform. Okay, I'll skip the use cases. So this acts as your enterprise geospatial location intelligence platform. How does it work? You see, you have core geospatial users, the desktop geospatial users who are creating massive geospatial data. So all of them are putting the data into PostGIS or in their own local tab files or in their shape files or whatever the format. From there, what we do is we push this particular data into connected, Spectrum Spatial, where you will be able to integrate the data from multiple databases or whatever, and then you will be able to manage it. You can maintain, like how you are maintaining the folders in your local drive. You will be able to manage that in a centralized spatial server. And you can define which user should upload the data, which user should download the data, which user should delete, edit, or copy or whatever, right? All of that can be done centrally over the web, right? And then you have business users, head of the departments, or CIOs, CDOs. They can simply just use this platform to visualize the data the way that they wanted to and extend that particular data. Now, next thing is, okay, I understand. This is all internal desktop, internal web user. How do I integrate the external data coming from different APIs and stuff? Where you will be able to integrate the data coming direct database integration. You will be able to do it. Hundreds of varieties of data that stores in S3 bucket, data that stores in Hadoop, data that stores in PostGIS or Snow, any database or whatever, right? All the data can be integrated directly with the platform. And you have a third-party application which requires this data to be used in their application. You can just publish this data layer as a WMS or a WF. You can create those from your data. You create those WMS, WFS layers and provide access to the external users. And then you have some data scientist who wants to use this platform to make those changes or run some sort of ML models or in any sort of AI models. You will be able to use this to extend that particular capability as well. And then lastly, the business users, where they don't do any sort of core geospatial functions. They just want to look at those reports, summaries, the current status of deployments, active status of the planning and everything. So they can just simply use that in order to create those things. And then business executives who actually monitor the progress on a very, very high level, at C level, where they will be able to do that with the platform, right? And then we have, in case if you wanted to publish, for example, your coverage maps, where you wanted to provide this to your public users, customers, you can use the same portal to expose that particular map to public using this product. You don't have to do any manual activity of creating a coverage map and put that into PDF and upload it. From the desktop users, they can literally publish it and it goes to the public users directly. Maxis in Malaysia do the same thing. T-Mobile in US does the same thing by publishing their real-time customer coverage, customer verified coverage map to them. And then of course the developers, in case if you wanted to play around, create some unique applications on on Spectrum Spatial, they will be able to do that with the platform, right? And this way you can have the enterprise level location intelligence platform driving the experience from desktop to the web, where you will be able to do all of that with this particular with absolutely zero coding. We will try to provide you a trial license and see if you can short training you will be able to manage and handle this particular Spectrum Spatial, and you will have a lovely experience in having this platform where you will be able to use this from your mobile or from your iPad or from your web or desktop, any interface. You will have a seamless experience like how you are having it in your desktop, right? So now, why should anybody choose this, or how it is being used? And this is not new, right? So some of the large brands likes of Starbucks, likes of McDonald's, Burger King, Shell, and there are few hundreds of clients who are using this in visualizing their assets, visualizing the performance of the stores, analyzing the or rationalizing their network, store network or tower network, and outlet networks and stuff like that. Hundreds of the brands, right, which are using this particular thing. Especially the use case that I would like to use is for the Burger King, where they created a easy to use sales modeling, where they integrated machine learning with the geospatial data to run those kind of models to see, tell me what are within this particular area, what are the most profitable locations. So with the same Spectrum Spatial, where they'll be able to integrate the ML model to run these particular scenarios for them. And they wanted to look at expansion analysis. If I move this particular store to a different location, what is the scenario? Will it have any cannibalization on the market area, market segment, territory of the other store? Will it be overlapping or is it complementing? What is the competition analysis looks like? How many number of competitors are available in a specific radius? It comes through all of these things and gives a report. Automatically, all they have to do is just click. So those kind of scenarios that you can create on top of this platform. And then it has this franchise report on a weekly basis to look at how each franchise is performing. Now if I apply that in telco, imagine a scenario where you wanted to look at the specific region and wants to automate the tower availability or moving the tower locations or choosing how many number of cell sites that I should put in this particular area. So covering your requirements such as population, households, availability of the buildings, and all of that put together. So of course it requires certain data that precisely provides. By integrating all of that, you will be able to analyze those things in a couple of clicks. You really don't have to spend a lot of time in going through all of that, right? And the differentiation, if I have to talk about why a lot of clients choose our platform, is because it is built on open architecture. Means we can integrate the external capability into Spectrum Spatial, and at the same time we can expose our capability that can be integrated to external applications as well, right? And it's one solution where you will have both spatial and non-spatial data comes into the picture, especially when it comes to Web GIS, right? And you really don't have to create a custom mobile app for your field survey or anything. You can use the same platform to do all of those things, right from survey, right from data collection, planning, analysis, and make decision, all through one single platform, right? And it's no code. Literally, you don't have to program anything to have to create those different types of projects. So you are different. You can create multiple, thousands of projects within one platform with no additional licensing that is required to do, right? And in case if you have mobile requirements where you wanted to have similar seamless experience similar to web, and you wanted to have offline capability to the web, because some locations where you don't have a network, you have to go and do some sort of surveys and stuff like that, right? So for those who needs this kind of capability, we have this product called Spectrum Spatial Connect, where you will be able to do everything what you are doing in web in a mobile with literally no native application is required. You can just open that in the browser and you will be able to do it. But if you need a native mobile app, you can still do it, especially and we recommend it if in case you need any offline capability, where you expect that to work even without internet. So that's the thing that we created. It's a no-code mobile app builder. It's just drag and drop those functions and create that particular product. I'll show a little bit of a small demo on that particular thing on how it actually works, right? You see, we created multiple applications, site risk analysis, tree survey, retail network optimization, and stuff like that. So you see here, so where the data that it is coming, it is connected with Wi-Fi, and where I'll be able to load the requirements or the actions and different types of information about that particular house or a building, right? Or an area. Now what I'm going to do is I'll switch off the I'll move the iPad into flight mode, and I'll still see if I'm able to update the data, capture the data and stuff like that. Now you see here. So I'll just quickly move a bit. Okay. So I'm switching on the airplane mode and I'm going on offline. Now I still be able to click and I'll still be able to get the form details. I'll still be able to upload the data. I'll still be able to fill the form. Right? So let me just show you that as well. So I'm clicking on, so the map data is rendering, and for this particular map, I'm going here and then I'm filling up the form, and then I'm just updating the data, whatever that is required, and then I will also upload the photos. So let me just taking a signature or whatever. I'm uploading the files here. Still be able to get all the data that I was getting during the internet. Literally every information. Right? I'm able to access the image also, though it is without internet. Now what I'm going to do, I'll just fill the data that is required for my this purpose, and I'm uploading those pictures from my mobile, and I'm filling the form, submitting this particular request. You see, on the top, pending update, currently offline. Then the moment you switch on the internet, those files will be synced back to the server, and you will be able to get that particular data back to the server. So it's pretty much straightforward. You see this data. I'm switching on. Whatever the images that I have just uploaded, all that data will start syncing back to the server. So this way you will be able to, that syncing happens in the moment you get the internet. So this is especially when you wanted to do some sort of a real time or near real time field data collection coming from the sites which is spread across the country, right? This would help you for all your field data surveys and stuff like that. So that's how we do it. So this is where you will be able to just build the applications in literally minutes. So if you wanted to spin off a specific survey application and you wanted to deploy that, you don't have to go through a lot of stuff. You can just drag and drop, create that particular system and assign it to a specific user, give them the URL, they just access the URL and have access the application. Just like that. And we can have different types of site assessment, especially when you want to do retail assessment. And if you wanted to have data collection, so where in case if you have some sort of a data survey that is required to signatures, geotagging of the location, forms, all of that happens in real time. Now, why anybody should choose Spectrum Spatial? That question, right? The big question. There are open source tools, there are enterprise tools which are charging you a bomb of money. Why? Right? So to see if I have to compare with the one that is available in the market, it's called ESRM. For the same capability, if you look at integration capability, precisely supports you will be integration, managing the spatial data, analyzing the spatial data, processing the spatial data, all in one. Let's assume 8-core box, a server, because we support both on-premise and cloud and SaaS, right? And to do the same thing, you will have to have different types of products from ArcGIS for a different capability. And pricing 3-year cost, if I look at it is 1.8 times the price of precisely number 1, excluding ArcGIS Online. ArcGIS Online is using this on a credit basis. If the usage is more, you will have to spend more, and there is no cap on the price. So for us, you can use unlimited users, unlimited usage, up to you how you want to do it. So we charge you based on the number of posts. That's it. So that way you will be able to get benefited with the platform not to have unexpected costs. Again, to do the same thing for survey, you will have to have survey 1, 2, 3 app. For collection of data, you will have to have collector app. For capturing of app data, images, and all that stuff, you will have to have quick capture of ArcGIS and stuff like that. Imagine with the Spectrum Spatial Connect, we will be able to do all of that with one product, with 1/3 of the pricing that is available compared to the competition products that we have. So that's why a lot of people choose our platform and not to do that particular thing. Right? And the next question is, what is the market says? What does the market think about this idea? So just wanted to give you a little bit more detail about the ESRI and precisely comparison in Forrester report. Precisely and ESRI are in leaders. So we are on par with ESRI with 1/3 of the cost that we will have to spend to use our platform. Be it desktop, be it web, be it mobile, all put together. We are there, in driving this kind of ease of use, driving this kind of integration capabilities, online capabilities and stuff like that. So that's how we help organizations in driving and achieving the location intelligence and control around the data, and making all types of users as part of the data that you create, or the data that you analyze, or the data that you publish. Right? So that's about Spectrum Spatial. So that ends my slides for Spectrum Spatial. Anyone have any questions? If no, I would like to go through a little bit of demo on the Spectrum Spatial. Yeah? Okay, just give me 1 second. So this is one of the community, local government agency in Australia, New Zealand, has created different types of applications with Spectrum Spatial. What you are seeing is completely configured, customized by the client. In reality, it doesn't look like it. So if I click on this one, so if I'm opening the planning or some infrastructure or whatever. So if I open it, this is created on top of Spectrum Spatial. It's loading. Just give it a minute. And then there is another one. Yeah. So you might have different varieties of data sets. Could be fiber, could be telco assets, or OLAP devices, ODF devices, whatever that you may have. You will be able to push all the data similar to the desktop. You just click and upload to the spatial server. It comes here. And then you can just click on any of the layers here. So if I click on this layer, I'll be able to get that particular data. Whatever the data that I have in my attribute table, I'll be able to get that particular information in here. And now you decide whether I should show all attributes, whether I should show certain attributes, whether I should give some sort of a clickable reference links. Oh, you click here, you have additional information or third-party application integration or whatever. You will be able to configure all of that in our Spectrum Spatial application. And you can have as many number of layers that you wanted. So I'm just giving some of it. So here, if I don't want, so you see here, similar to MapInfo, layer not visible at this zoom level. You can control at what level that you wanted to visualize that particular attribute information or label information and stuff like that. Right? Similar to the desktop geospatial application. You will have all of that coming up into the system. And you can switch whether you wanted to have an aerial imagery or you wanted to have some sort of different types of base map. You can pick and choose what you would like to have. And if I just click on, for example, roads only, or I wanted to just keep, if I have any data around that, so I'll be able to get that information coming up in here. I click on it, and if the data is there, then I'll be able to visualize it, right? So this data can be a real-time data that gets updated from your database from different applications, or your desktop geospatial user update is that. So that way you will be able to do it, and you can switch between different types of applications. As I was mentioning, projects. You can have thousands of projects created within the MapInfo. So that's the best part of this particular setup. I can go, now we are in infrastructure, right? I can go to planning, I can go to any of those things that I know I have. It's up to me how I wanted to configure it, how I wanted to create the data, how I wanted to publish that particular data. So this is a end product which customer created, customized on their own. Now let's look at the bare minimum application, the default application. So you see here where I can just switch between, maybe I'll see if I can have, So I can have different types of applications that I can create within the platform. So this is a Telestra, one of the telco company that is using the same system to visualize their tower network, to analyze tower planning and all of that stuff, right? So they created different layers of information, such as network lanes, network points, infrastructure, and they wanted to add in some sort of address-based demographic data and stuff like that. So they will be able to switch on those data layers. So these data layers are created by precisely. So you click on one data here, one telco tower. So if I have the attributes, so this is the store name, what is the information of that particular store and stuff like that. Cell site, right? It can be any of the cell sites that I may have. And now if I switch on the target markets or whatever the target markets that I have. So these are secondary target markets for 5G. And how I come up with those particular things? By using varieties of information that I would want to do. So I'll switch on to area. So these are the 5G terrain target markets that I would want to do. And I would want to look at network lanes, especially from a planning standpoint. I should be able to see the network lanes, the FTTH network that you will have, and network points, if there are any points that are available. So let me just quickly go through here. So I can go deep into that particular data that I have, and if I click on any specific asset information that I have, then I'll be able to see what information that I have. I mean, these are all tight integration with your existing data, if you have it, right? Same information that you are doing in desktop, you will be able to do the same thing in web. And the best part here is that you can also do a lot of analysis. For example, let me just quickly show you this. Let me zoom out a bit, and I want to do some sort of so I want to analyze. So this is the customer location, and I want to know, or if this is the proposed our site. Now I wanted to understand, are there any infrastructure available within 3 kilometer radius, 2 kilometer radius, 5 kilometer radius? You can do all that analysis here. For example, instead of meters, I want to change to kilometers. I will just customize this. Say 1 kilometer, maybe 0.25 kilometer. So I'll just switch to meters, easier for me because the region is meter, right? 250 meters, and then 500 meters, and then 750 meters. Now what I'm going to do, I'll just I'll just change the style. So second height I wanted to make it orange. Third one I want to make it red. Okay, I'll go back to my properties. I'll just apply. Now it decreases the area, and the best part, you can always query in this particular thing, summarize this within this. So I wanted to summarize. If you have data to summarize, you will be able to summarize. Let's see how it will summarize. Now it is asking which layer that I need to take up. I want to take any sort of ducts available there. So it tells me, hey, this is the summary of that particular data. Imagine if you have households, building footprints, SDUs or MDUs or all of those assets. You can summarize how many of them are there, how many people living in that area. All of those insights you will be able to analyze from this. If it is desktop, then you will have to create multiple layers to do the same thing. Here, you really don't have to. On the fly, you will be able to do all these kind of summaries. Now, okay, I want to query specific. Within these 3 weeks, I want to choose the culverts, or maybe I want to just choose footpaths if there are available, right? And if you have specific footpaths like end of the maintained by specific company or anything, you can choose whichever that you wanted to, or you don't want to do filtering and you just wanted to highlight that dam in this color. Okay, I'll create this. So looks like there is no data available for this particular footpaths or this one. So let me just click on one layer where I can show you structured point. So let me just go here. The structured points, no filter, and create. So you see here, I'll switch off all other layers. I will switch annotation also. You see, this is the result that I've got. Now the best thing is that you can export this particular data into whatever the file format, so that you can use this data somewhere else, and you can pick and choose which user should do what changes and stuff like that, right? So that's the other area, way where you will be able to use this platform to run. And we can just simply, instead of doing that, I can just simply print this as a map, print preview. I'll be able to print this into portrait or landscape and manage the zoom levels the way that I would want it, and then get the data out the way that you would want it, right? So I can just export it into PDF and the way that I want. Put the titles or whatever, right? So what we need to say is that you will be able to use this kind of a platform to manage, integrate, publish the data that you are currently doing in desktop over the web, right? So that's how it will help you to do it. And then we have multiple varieties of projects, as I was mentioning, right? You can create hundreds of projects doesn't matter. So you see so many projects that we created with one single application. So if you want to come up with a new platform or a new project for a specific use case, and you really don't have to go through the programming or anything, all you have to do is just customize the project that you wanted to configure. Let me just quickly show you that also. How to do that, right? Okay, this user. Okay, that's fine. I will just give me 1 second. I'll just show you that as well. So what I'm going to show now is how do I configure this, right? Let me see if I still have access. Right, I still have access. So you see here, right? Similar to what you do, right? You'll be able to create these kind of folders, and you can connect this particular folder to your local desktop path or centralized path and map, and you are publishing the data. MapInfo will ask which path should be my reference. So the data still resides in your local drive, and then it just becomes a conduit for you to access that particular data. And then we have data, where we can create different varieties of data repositories, and we can have different types of services where you have the data on your desktop and you wanted to publish that particular data. There is no point in sending them the tab file or sending them the shape file or CSV file or whatever. Rather, you create the services, feature service, mapping service, tile, WMS, WFS, all of those things in here only. So when you are giving access to any other department, any other region, you just create this WMS layer and give access to them, and they can integrate that, configure that WMS or WFS, in their MapInfo. So that's how you will be able to do that with the services. And then we have permissions, where you will be able to provide different types of permissions, whether it is folder level, resource level, and stuff like that. And then we have project properties. So let me just quickly go through the properties. Yeah. So this is where it gets interesting, right? Different types of projects, different types of users, and you want to give different types of functionalities for them to do. So if I click on functionality profile, so you'll be able to create your own functionality, configure your own functionality, you see here, whether they should be able to sign in. Sometimes you want to give a guest access, you will be able to give a guest access. Or you would want to give them switch between the map projects. Because if you are a specific user and your only business is to just work on that particular project but nothing else. So you can disable them to not to switch between the projects. Thematic maps, display where they should be able to see the data, how many zoom levels they need to go, at any given point in time, how many number of features that they should be able to read. So it can be light on the app also, right? So whether they should be able to enable add local files in case if they wanted to upload CSV files or JSONs or KMLs to visualize or analyze the data on demand. So you will be able to enable those things, and whether they should be able to do similar annotations we have done, right? Like a ring buffer analysis and all of that. So you can disable or enable just by clicking on giving permissions to them. Printing, whether they should be able to print it or not print it, you will be able to decide how they should be able to do it. And then we have, you see, different layers of data sets, right? So you can have your own data as a search, means in the search window here in the application, you can actually search whether I want to search with the coordinates or whether I want to search based on the address, whether I want to search based on the asset information or anything. So you'll be able to configure those kind of search functions in the functionality profile. And geocoding service, routing services, external tile integrations, all of that can be done within the platform. So that's how we help organizations to create those kind of functions here in the application. So if I just go back to so I think so here you can decide what functions that they should see, right? So what kind of activities that they should be able to do it within this particular information. So let me just open only one sort of thing and try to see if I can show you on the customization. So look and feel, right? All of this look and feel can be configured, customized the way that you want it, right? So literally nobody can handle, no need to do any sort of custom programming or anything within the platform, right? So again we'll go back to process home. So it's just loading for me. So I can define anything that I would like to have. So I want to show one sort of a ML program where we created run a machine learning program on top of the assets that we have. So let me see if I can show you that. You see here, earlier we did not have these kind of function in the previous screen, but you will be able to configure these kind of functions with the functionality profile that I have created for you. So it is trying to fetch third-party information. So I think so if you have created some sort of thematic maps on your desktop application, okay, and you would want to push that particular data as is to the server. So you'll be able to simply run that thematic map on desktop and publish it to the what you call centralized spatial server. Right? Same data, same attributes, same differentiation can come here. You can switch on, switch off the labels or whatever the data that you'd like to have. The moment you click on it, if the information is available, then you will be able to see it here. Or if you wanted to annotate that particular building or block, you will be able to annotate that and run some sort of advanced report. So this is customization that we have done on top of it. If you click on advanced report, so if you have any sort of Excel template that is created, it can run those kind of functions. Reports in the backend with ML and give you the output that you need. So these things that you can create and run with Spectrum Spatial. Pretty easy, straightforward to do all of these activities. And one last thing that I would want to just showcase. So this is web in a laptop that I'm trying to use. How about if I do this over the mobile? So yeah, let me see if I can show that here. So if I open it in iPad, you see on this one. So this is how it would look like in an iPad. Same functions like how we are doing it in the desktop web, you will be able to do that. If I switch to some sort of a find phone, old phone or whatever, so I can have these kind of